US Vice President JD Vance arrived in Greenland on Friday, landing at Pituffik Space Base, a key US military installation in the Arctic. The unannounced visit has triggered strong responses from Danish and Greenlandic officials, who say the timing and nature of the trip amount to political pressure. The visit comes as President Donald Trump continues to press for US annexation of Greenland, a Danish territory rich in resources and strategically located in the Arctic. "We have to have it," Trump reiterated earlier this week. The U.S. delegation, which included National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Energy Secretary Chris Wright, arrived just hours after Greenland announced a new coalition government. Incoming Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen criticized the timing of the visit, saying it showed a lack of respect to an ally. Vance was accompanied by his wife Usher, Utah Senator Mike Lee, and Julia Neshawat, a former Homeland Security advisor. Speaking at the base, Vance said the president is focused on Arctic security and added the visit was meant to assess the security situation in Greenland.
There was a lot of criticism from Denmark, a lot of attacks at the Trump administration, at the president, at me, at others in our administration for saying the obvious, which is that Denmark hasn't done a good job at keeping Greenland safe. And one of the things I heard was, well, what about the many Danes who lost their lives in the war on terror fighting alongside the United States? Well, look, we obviously honor the sacrifice of our Danish friends in the war on terror 20 years ago, just as, for example, the French honor the sacrifice of Americans in Normandy 80 years ago. But recognizing that there are important security partnerships in the past does not mean that we can't have disagreements with allies in the present about how to preserve our shared security for the future. And that's what this is about. There is no amount of bullying, no amount of obfuscating, no amount of confusing the issue. Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have underinvested in the people of Greenland, and you have underinvested in the security architecture of this incredible, beautiful landmass filled with incredible people. That has to change. And because it hasn't changed, this is why President Trump's policy in Greenland is what it is. It's consistent with the first Trump administration, where you saw significant investments in Arctic security, and it will continue over the next 4 years under President Trump's leadership.
The Pituffik Base, formerly known as Thule Air Base, is critical to U.S. missile defense and Arctic surveillance. Its location places it on the most direct route between Russia and North America. Earlier this year, Vance sparked controversy when he accused Denmark of neglecting Greenland's defense. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen responded that Denmark had been a loyal U.S. ally for decades, citing military contributions in Iraq and Afghanistan. In January, Denmark committed nearly $2 billion to strengthen its Arctic presence, including investments in new surveillance equipment and specialized vessels. However, local and regional opposition to U.S. intentions remains strong. A January poll showed a majority of Greenlanders reject the idea of annexation. All major Greenlandic parties support eventual independence from Denmark, but oppose becoming part of the United States. Russian President Vladimir Putin weighed in on Thursday, calling Trump's plans serious and warning that NATO countries are increasingly treating the Arctic as a potential flashpoint. The U.S. Energy Secretary, Chris Wright, has expressed hope for cooperation on mining projects in Greenland. Speaking to Fox News, he said such efforts could benefit both U.S. critical mineral needs and Greenland's economy.
Thank you for your service to our country, wherever it is, whatever it takes. And I think we see right here in this beautiful air base in the high Arctic what energy can do. We can make a tough high Arctic environment a beautiful place to live, a comfortable place to live, all sorts of scientific instrumentation, military mission to monitor what's going on in the world. None of this was possible not long ago. President Trump was elected to re-energize America, to take the beauty that you've seen up here and make that a thing of pride and ambition again, not shaming of energy, not trying to stop its growth and its prosperity, but to re-energize it. So energy makes the world a beautiful place to live. It makes us comfortable and have long, opportunity-rich lives. I'm thrilled and proud to be part of this administration with President Trump and Vice President Vance. Thank you all for your service. I'm honored to be here.
Greenland, home to around 57,000 people, most of them Inuit, holds large untapped mineral and oil reserves, though exploration for oil and uranium is currently banned. A planned visit by Usher Vance to the town of Sisimiut, initially part of the trip, was cancelled after reports of planned protests. Locals had said they intended to give her a cold reception, symbolic of growing frustration with US pressure. Danish and Greenlandic officials, supported by the European Union, have repeatedly stated that Greenland is not for sale. Prime Minister Frederiksen called the visit unacceptable pressure and reaffirmed that the US would not get Greenland. As tensions grow in the Arctic, Vance's visit underscores the widening gap between Washington and its traditional allies in the region.